Greetings, traveler.
Guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a rogue draft. Now, this rogue draft in particular is a little different from my standard rogue draft, right? I'll throw that disclaimer out. We're ending up with a mid-range rogue this time. It's not my preferred archetype. I prefer aggro rogue in this expansion, but once again, a good example of, switching to what you want. You'll see that in the video. I'm pretty committed to aggro and I keep trying to push it, but we just don't get the very specific cards necessary. Now we end up with a mid-range that is more inclined towards aggro, right? If you would have a scale here with on one end, you have full super balls to the walls aggro. On the other end, you have super control, right? You'd have mid-range about over here. Let's say it's a mid-range a bit more here, a bit more towards the aggro end of the spectrum. Okay? So this deck is fairly good if you're playing against other decks that require a more mid-gamey spike, because we'll have very efficient removal for those mid-game minions, right? So it's a mid-range deck that kind of preys on other mid-range decks. So luckily there are quite a few of those in the arena. The reason why I prefer aggro is I feel that a very decent amount of opponents right now are going to be more towards the control end, right? The warlocks, mages, priests. And if you go for a more aggro rogue, it's pretty difficult for them to stop you, because rogue just has such premium tools of keeping control of the board that just that little bit longer than a normal aggro deck. And the reach in rogue is usually on the weapon, so it's pretty hard to interact with. An example would be an Assassin's Blade. That's 12 damage if you throw it face every turn, right? But it's pretty hard to interact with. You can't polymorph the weapon, you can't fireball the weapon, so you need weapon destruction or freeze. And that is so much more or less likely than just being able to kill a minion. So those things combined make me really like aggro rogue right now, but once again, we should learn to go with the flow. So go with the flow if the draft doesn't quite allow you to pick the archetype you want. I don't just want to upload perfect drafts here, because then you guys will get a distorted image of what drafting is like. It's like, oh, you just have to lock yourself into an archetype and it will always appear, right? So once again, try to get aggro rogue, but if you can't, mid-range rogue will do fine, because if you are going for a mid-range rogue, then it usually means that you have a fairly high amount of quality mid-range minions. Okay guys, as always, enjoy the video. If you like it, hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments which cards you would have picked different. I'll see you. Oh, Shady, please. Shady, please. So, we are going to do a fun and interactive arena draft now, guys, which means that I'm going to be really, I guess interactive is the wrong word. An in-depth would be a one. So I am going to explain to you guys exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to explain my thought process, at which points I decide to commit to which archetypes, which cards might trigger that for me, what I'm looking for my curve. So this is one where you can learn a lot. So let's get started. The first pick's already pretty interesting, because we got Moloker and Shady Dealer. The cheat isn't really that great. This is a reasonable early game card. This is removal. There are some combo pieces like Shadow Step and Brew. We're still going to opt for Shady Dealer, because my preferred archetype with Rogue right now is aggro. So I'm going to see if we can make that work. Here there isn't really much to say. Daring Reporter is just strictly better. Okay, this is definitely a pack where we can talk about. These are all pretty bad cards. Which card is the best for us? Sinister Strike is an aggro card. It's either Acolyte of Pain for the sometimes card draw question mark, or Rifleman for the useful ping. It's just in Rogue, I don't see this getting too much value a lot of the time. Like in Druid, you can buff it. In Mage, you can ping it. I think we still end up with the Acolyte over the Ironforge. It's just, I don't see it, right? If you think about it, like, I just don't feel the Acolyte, right? You know what I'm saying? All right. Peddler or T? No, it's never T. It's Cut Purse or Peddler. I had T yesterday, that's why I'm memeing. Probably Peddler. The cut purse is definitely fine for an aggro deck, but the peddler allows for a lot of upside if you do have any cards from different classes, right? Which we should get if we get some like swashbucklers or burgles or in general spell slingers. Here it's the sap, even though Yeti is strong, Investigator is fine. Sap is amazing, and it's one of those cards that you just need to create a tempo swing. So we will go pick that here. Holy shit. There's a lot of Sinister Strikes in one draft. Gorilla Bot, I guess. We don't have any mechs, so right now it's just a 4-mana Spider Tank. Yeah, I don't think we need a Tiny Fin yet. Okay. Maybe we get a mech here and there. Huh. Does that mean we want the heal bot? Probably not. We could get baited here and going into an archetype we don't want to. We're gonna go with Worgen here because the heal bot, yes, it's good. Yes, it helps you, but not if you're trying to build an aggressive deck. So it doesn't mean that we're going to force the aggro deck, but as long as there, you know, the road is still open, as long as there's still an option to go for it, I'll go for the Worgen here. Fairy Dragon here. No real explanation needed, I think. Good 2-drop. The other two aren't really exciting. Same here. Shredder. Not really too much of an explanation needed. Sillet Swarmer is actually a card in Rogue. Yeah, it's actually a card. The other two aren't really that great, so this is totally fine. Okay, so now that we're 10 picks in, let's quickly recap what we've got going for ourselves so far. Whew. We have one good tempo card here, the Sap. This creates a lot of board lead a lot of the time. We have 2 actual 2-drops. We have 2 3-drops. We have 2 4-drops plus a Gorilla Bot and a Peddler. So this is still possible to go any direction. We haven't committed to anything. We haven't seen any Reach. Reach would have made us a little bit more likely to commit to aggro. Same time, we don't have AoE, so we're not really committed to control either. So this is about as flexible as it gets right now. That's good. You want to, I mean, if you have super key cards for certain styles early on, it's not like that's bad, right? Because you might get a really nice aggro/control deck. But having a flexible draft going into pick 10 or pick 11 in this case is definitely not bad. We'll go with the Bouncer. It's not an amazing card, but it's playable. Addict is sometimes fine in Rogue, but we don't really have a surplus of early spells. Cult Master is great in aggro, and the other two are kind of meh anyway, so we'll go and pick the Cult Master for now. Shadow Strike is just the best card in every case here. Even though the mech would have been nice for the Gorilla Bot, there's just no way. There's just no way we're skipping that. Oh, 2 Saps. Okay, this is coming together. So we got 2 Saps and a Shadow Strike all of a sudden. I think this pick is still archetype unrelated. The Racketeer is just better, and we have 3s. So this is not solidifying us into any archetype. It's probably still the Ogre Brute, yeah. This pushes us a little bit more towards aggro, but that's no problem. Backstab is probably still better in either archetype. We have Cult Master for refill, so we shouldn't be too afraid of drafting low. The 2 Saps make us want to go a bit more aggressive as well. But then again, if you have a really, really late game deck, you have 2 Saps to get yourself out of trouble. That's also not bad. Okay, so now that we have you know, the 2 Saps for tempo, we have the Cult Master for draw, we have Shadow Strike for control, we have a decent mid game. I'm more inclined to go for an aggro rogue. The Assassin's Blade here pushes me towards that archetype because this is a great card for aggro. It's a card that's kind of meh in mid-range and control simply because it's too slow, but in aggro it's great because you play this and you just start jamming face. And aggro can afford to play it because your cards are cheap. If you have a handful of expensive cards, you can almost never squeeze in the Assassin's Blade. Tiger here is just once again the best card, independent of what the other cards are. Lotus Agents should also be the better card, depending on, you know, not depending on anything. We have Worgen and we have Tiger for stealths, but yeah, discovering some reach could be great. Huh, okay, this is worth pausing for a sec. We have 2 mechs right now, right? 3 drops in general, we have 1, 2, 3. This is not a 3-drop. Acolyte's not a 3-drop. If I pick the Sprint here, it's already a little bit heavy, but that would mean that all my next cards need to be cheap, right? It almost, like, they have to be cheap. It's not unpickable here, the sprint, whatsoever. It's just that if we pick up a little bit more heavy stuff, the sprint starts to get really clunky. I think we can get away with the sprint, and I think it's really close. It's really close, and now we just need to pick all early. Do I have to pick a scientist here? 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. I've got 2 actual 2s. I think I need to pick a scientist here, even though Ogre Magi is normally the superior card. I do have a backstab and a shadow strike though. Oh, there's actually use for it. This is not going the right way. This is not going the right way. Still talking about aggro when it's forced to be a basic mid-range rogue a while ago. I disagree. I disagree. If you pick up like 3 2-drops or so, you can still build an aggro deck. You have reach, you have card draw. I don't think this is even that great of a mid-range deck, honestly. Alright. This is great. This is great. Man, it's like 4 or 5 Sinister Strikes, right? This is a, yeah, sorry, those previous 2 picks were slam dunks, right? Because we needed 2 drops. So this is actually a consideration for Doomsayer. Because the deck is looking like it's going to be, it's not even that heavy, right? We have 1 6, we have 2 actual 5s, and then a Blade Agents and a Sprint. What do I have for Shadowcaster? Shredder, Lotus Agents, Big Time Racketeer. Big Time Racketeer is an insane synergy with this thing. Like I could coin this out, and then on turn 6 play Shadowcaster on the 1/1, play it again. My god. Poison Blade is also a consideration? No. Just no. Just no. Cult Master is also a nice target. Gorilla Bot, not really. Gorilla Bot, we don't really have the mechs necessary. But yeah, sure. Guess we might copy itself and then let it trigger once. This isn't a 4-on-1 mage stream. Oh, did it? God damn it, Botty. Yeah, sorry, Botty is not really working with us. Alright, get that fixed. I think it is a Doomsayer, even though the Shadowcaster has some use. It's just going to be too clunky with the Shadowcaster. Shuriken definitely helps. So a flexible card, we ended up picking the spell power anyway, so that's also good. Yeti, because it's a mech. Yeah, and it's just better in general, I feel. Oh man. So we could now, like, the deck is pretty much going towards mid-range right now, right? I mean, especially with that Yeti pickup there. If we pick up a Shredder here, we really bring that mid-range type home. The Shadow Strike is really good though, but we have 2 saps, right? So we have saps and Shadow Strike to generate tempo. If we pick another Shredder here, this is one of the things that you absolutely need for a mid-range rogue. Is like, if you're going to be mid-range, your mid-game needs to be impeccable. Our 5s aren't really that great, right? Because we only have two really good ones, but they are pretty sweet. So if we can manage to draw one of these guys, we can definitely do the whole mid-range spiel. Mid-range in general, I feel, is the weakest archetype right now. I guess for rogue, control might be a little bit weaker. Aggro, I feel, is the strongest. I guess if your mid-range is skewed towards aggro, it's still good. Okay, we'll go with the Shredder over the Shadow Strike. Close call though. Horse Rider's great. We get to react. We get another 3-mana card. The last card is... Cool, it's crap. Actual crap. Alright. I don't have 1-drop, so I can't get away with daggering on 2 too often. Cold Light Oracle doesn't seem that great because I have Sprint, Lotus Agents, and Cold Master. Blackwater Pirate works with Assassin's Blade, but Assassin's Blade only. I think it is a Watchman for something to do on turn 2. You can even coin that out into a dagger. Okay. This is a fairly solid mid-range rogue. It's not my preferred archetype, but as a drafter, you need to be able to adjust. Take it. All right, let's queue up a game. See how this mid-range rogue plays.